Hello and welcome to United Report. This is your home for all the latest Manchester United news, match updates, transfer stories, and in-depth analysis. Stay connected and never miss a moment. Subscribe now to stay ahead with everything happening at Old Trafford. Manchester United will leave it up to Ruben Amorim to decide Jadon Sancho's future should he return to Old Trafford, according to reports. Sancho is facing an uncertain future after failing to impress on loan at Chelsea after some poor displays for the Blues. The England international is struggling to find his feet at Stamford Bridge and came under fire for his anonymous display in their 1-0 loss to Arsenal on Sunday, and plans for him to join the club permanently now look unlikely. Chelsea have an obligation to sign Sancho for £25 million if the Blues finish higher than 14th in the Premier League, which looks nearly impossible with the team currently 4th in the table. But reports have claimed Chelsea will be able to pay a large fee to release themselves from that obligation and send Sancho back to United. Should that happen, Amorim will have the power to decide on whether he remains in the squad or is sold, as reported by ESPN. Amorim is said to be weighing up a huge overhaul of his struggling squad this summer, with as many as 8 players set to depart, and Sancho is thought to be on that list. The former Borussia Dortmund star initially impressed in his first few weeks at Chelsea after he assisted 3 goals in each of his first 3 Premier League games for the club. But his form has plummeted in recent months after going 13 games without a goal involvement under Enzo Maresca, with some fans furious and demanding Chelsea send him back to United. Former Chelsea star William Gallas recently slammed Sancho's performances and said there was no chance he could stay at the Bridge beyond this season. He's a talented player, everybody knows this, but we don't know why he can't perform and can't show what he can do, the former centre-back told Stadium Astro. At Dortmund, he was magnificent. At Manchester United, it didn't work well for him. He came to Chelsea, and at the beginning we saw that Sancho from Dortmund, but then he disappeared. I don't know what the problem is, but at the moment he can't stay at Chelsea because he has to do more. When you play in the Premier League, you have to play every game at the highest level. It's not easy, but you can't just play well for a few games and then chill out. Manchester United head into the international break in a positive run of form. They have reached the Europa League quarter-finals by beating Spanish side Real Sociedad, and they continued that form with a dominant win against Leicester and former star Ruud van Nistelrooy. While they are still some way off the European places, Ruben Amorim's side still have realistic hopes of Champions League football. But their domestic commitments are set to be paused with the March international break. A host of stars will be jetting to all corners of the globe, but Amorim now has a chance to work closely with the players staying behind. Take a look at all of the latest news from Old Trafford. Rasmus Hojlund has admitted he is finally getting to grips with Ruben Amorim's demands after ending his 21-game goal drought. Speaking after his goal at Leicester, he said, "I think it comes down to my performances as well. I think obviously I've not been on top of my game as I wanted to, and we're still adapting to a new system and some new positions. But I think I've been growing into it lately and starting to look a bit better. But I'm just happy to get on the score sheet, and I'm sure they will come more now. I'm happy, but it's not all about goals. I'm obviously very happy to get my goal, and it gives me a lot of confidence. I think we're starting to get a bit more of a connection between myself and the players, then starting to understand what my qualities are even more, and playing to them as well." Former United teammates Luis Saha and Mikel Silvestre have disagreed over whether the club should re-sign Paul Pogba. "I would take Paul Pogba back at Manchester United in a heartbeat," the former said. "It's not only because of the squad that we have now with injuries and all that, but for all the elements that he brings as a player." But Silvestre isn't completely convinced. He said, "No, I wouldn't be tempted to sign Paul Pogba on a free transfer if I was Manchester United. I like Paul a lot, but I wouldn't because it's going to be expensive and you don't know physically how long it's going to take him to get up to match fitness. Even though he's been out of the game for 18 months, before his ban, he wasn't really playing that much at Juventus. He's had a couple of injuries. It's too big of a risk to sign Pogba EFL. Chief Rick Parry has hinted that United's new stadium could potentially host a future Carabao Cup final as an alternative to Wembley." Speaking to TalkSport, he said, "Well, it's always nice to have an alternative, and it's very exciting for the North, so exciting news, positive news. Again, from the EFL's point of view, the more that our biggest clubs grow and thrive, the stronger the game will be." So we always look on with interest, but that's a few years away yet, but having alternatives is never a bad thing. You have to admire the gall of Sir Jim Ratcliffe and his executive team at Manchester United. Just days after Ratcliffe gave an interview in which he criticised the shocking way United had been run in recent years, accusing those in charge of presiding over a cock-up, he and his football operations team announced a rise in ticket prices for a third successive year at Old Trafford. In simple terms, match-going United fans are paying the price and footing the bill for the financial blunders made by previous regimes placed in charge by reviled majority owners, the Glazers. A week after thousands of United fans embarked on a mass demonstration before the 1-1 draw with Arsenal at Old Trafford, protesting at the proposed ticket price hike and the way their loyalty is being exploited for profit, Ratcliffe and cronies have gone ahead with the increases anyway. The rise of 5% may not be as high as was feared and is in line with inflation, while United have listened to fans and decided to freeze prices for under-16s. But the bottom line is that supporters are still being asked to fork out even more money to watch arguably the worst United team since the one that was relegated to the second tier in the 1973-74 season. Given how lamentably United have performed this season and how Ratcliffe has laid bare the mistakes of the past that have led the club to the stage where he has been forced to take drastic measures like culling 450 staff, it is jarring that fans are being asked to dig even deeper into their pockets. Not only that, fans who have had season tickets for years around the dugouts at Old Trafford are being moved against their will, so those seats can be sold for even more money at premium rates to allow United to make even more money from them, profit above the loyalty of supporters. The big clubs these days do not want season ticket holders or legacy fans, as they are often referred to in the modern game. They want tourists or day trippers, those who are happy to pay inflated prices for tickets, as well as spending hundreds of pounds on merchandise, because the motivation of owners nowadays is maximising revenue and profit, rather than ensuring they look after the very supporters whose enduring loyalty has made these elite clubs what they are today. United are the epitome of that avaricious approach, as outlined by their latest announcement on increased ticket prices and new guidelines for next season. As well as the price hike, United have increased the minimum number of games season ticket holders must attend from 15 to 16 of 19 Premier League games. Will impose a £10 charge on fans selling their tickets back to the club less than 2 weeks before a game, and have raised car parking charges by 15%. All of these measures, necessary in the eyes of the United hierarchy to address the financial mistakes of the past, will serve only to further alienate supporters from those running the club and see further protests from fans who are fed up with having their loyalty exploited for profit. Ruben Amorim hailed special Bruno Fernandes after the Manchester United skipper inspired his side to victory and nudged Leicester closer to relegation. United extended their unbeaten run to 7 games in all competitions, with Fernandes providing 2 assists and scoring the third to move Amorim's side up to the 13th. Rasmus Hojlund and Alejandro Garnacho ended 21-game and 25-game goal droughts, but United boss Amorim reserved special praise for his formidable captain. "Bruno is a special guy," said Amorim. "He's always ready, he can recover well. I always see a Bruno who is dangerous, and a Bruno who can recover in every situation. What surprised me the most is the way he works every day. That was a surprise. In Portugal, we see Bruno with all that frustration, and I was really surprised because he's a very good professional. You can understand that frustration, but it was a surprise for me." Man of the match Fernandes said, "I think you can see some progress, but that has to go on and on. We have important games. I want to score as many goals as I can. It's a big part of my game, and I also need to assist my teammates. I need to get onto the edge of the box and score goals, as it's one of my qualities." The only blot for United was a serious injury to 18-year-old defender Aidan Heaven, who left the pitch on a stretcher just after the restart. Amorim said, "It's hard to know because we have to evaluate during the week. Leicester are still 9 points from safety, but boss Ruud van Nistelrooy said, 'The gap is 9 points. It's big, but we can't and won't give up. We'll keep going and use all the possibilities we have to turn this situation around. Now we'll have a long break and come back from there.'"